Today, we're joined by Jason Matsuzawa, a loan officer with Fairway Mortgage. He's in the top 1% of mortgage originators in America in both 2020 and 2021. And he's now an owner of the American Family Insurance Agency serving Southern Arizona. Jason, welcome to Beyond the Split.
Thank you.
Hey, so we're gonna ask you a few questions. We'd like to get to know a little bit about you, Jason. Besides how obviously good-looking and tan, may I add, that you are. Holy cow! So you've been here in Tucson since 1995. Tell us what brought you here and what made Tucson home.
Well, I actually came to visit family in January of '95, and there wasn't a whole lot going on in my life at the time. And being it was January and I'm from upstate New York, the weather here was beautiful.
Yeah.
Everything here was beautiful.
Yeah.
And I decided when I was on that visit that I was going to come back and I was going to live here. So my mother and stepfather said, "Hey, we bought a car from Jim Click. Why don't we stop over and see if they have any jobs available?" So I went in, got an interview.
Yeah.
They said, "Hey, we'd like to hire you. Come back in a month."
Now, how old? Not to pigeon you, but how old were you at that time?
It was about a month and a half, or 2 months before my 22nd birthday.
22. I apologize. Did you say where you came from?
Yes, Hyde Park, New York.
Hyde Park, New York. So Hyde Park, New York to Tucson, Arizona in 1995. You were 22. You were visiting family. You saw the sun and you said, "This is it. This is where I've got to live."
Yeah.
And you ended up at Jim Click Automotive.
Correct.
And how is it? How were those peasants to work with?
Well, being that you were there with me and you were my first boss, it was actually the best learning experience that I ever had going into the workforce of how to work for yourself and how to make something happen instead of just watching a clock go by and collecting a paycheck.
Yeah, yeah. Well, just for everybody that doesn't know, if you sell cars, they don't pay you by the hour, do they?
No, they do not.
And that's pretty much how the rest of the industries that we are all involved in these days are as well. And so the experience that you had at Jim Click Automotive, do you think that it influenced you in just your selling style, or did it influence you in other parts of your life?
I think I was always a salesman my entire life. I'm talking about since a little kid. I'd knock on people's doors and say, "Hey, do you need your driveway shoveled?" And they're looking at me like, "You're like 8 years old, man." And I'm like, "It's okay. I can shovel it." And I'd come home, in 1982, and I'd have, $100 in my pocket.
Yeah.
And my parents would be like, "Where'd you get $100?" I said, "I went out and hustled. I went and shoveled driveways." And what it did is just brought me into the business part, the business world. And it showed me that no matter what it did teach me is don't judge people on how they look.
Yeah.
I've sold people that showed up on a bus.
Yeah.
That the other guys in the parking lot and on the lot said, "Hey man, go have fun with that one." And guess what? They left with a car. Mm-hmm. Or they showed up on a bicycle and they left with a car.
Yeah.
Or they were in the service drive getting an oil change. They left with a new car. So it taught me not to judge anybody or not to prejudge them or to assume anything.
Yeah.
It was to literally just go out and present yourself, because you got to sell yourself.
Yeah.
And take your product knowledge, put those two together, make some rapport with the people you're dealing with. And if they want to buy something and you're the guy that's going to be better than the guy next door, the way you talk to them, the way you treat them, you're going to make a sale and be successful.
Very good. Very good. And did that particular base, did that help you at all in movement within the car business?
Yes, because I started in sales and I ended up working up into finance manager, which is kind of the armpit of a dealership. However, you really learn fast how to negotiate fast, how to get deals done fast, how to do everything fast and get it done right. Get it done right the first time. And then from there to the sales desk to general sales manager, and all of those steps taught me how to run a dealership.
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
And then when you look back on your younger self, building up this career, was there a defining moment or a moment where you realized that you wanted to make a career helping people, make one of the biggest financial purchases of their life?
I would probably say when I had my first B-back that already purchased, literally a year later to the date, and said, we're only buying a car from you.
Mm.
And I even looked at it and said, you just bought this last year. Like, I'm not sure you should buy a car because they were, what we call upside down. But, we had some rebates available and everything, and they were able to leave with another car again. And they started sending me their family members, their friends. They still came back and bought more cars, which I thought was crazy, but they did. And it just taught me that if you were just a real person, not necessarily a salesperson, that's just what you do. But if you're just a real person and you connect with people, that's more important than anything, honestly. And that really propelled me for all of business, is just making connections, making true connections, having meaningful conversations, not just trying to pitch, or talk to people because you want to sell them something, that, and to also realize that, hey, I am helping them make a big financial decision in their life. And so trying to make sure that I didn't just sell them anything and sell them what based on their needs, and then throw in some of the wants so that they were happy overall.
That's awesome.
Very nice. And how did you first get into the mortgage business? What did those early years teach you?
So in that one, I actually owned my own business for a little bit. When I got out of the car business, I actually owned a sports memorabilia store for about 5 years.
I remember that.
Yeah, and it was from 2007 to 2012, and that was not during the greatest financial times of our country at the time.
What did we term that period of time?
That was a recession.
The Great Recession.
There was nothing great about it, honestly. But when you have a bunch of responsibilities and a bunch of kids and everything else going on,
tell us, what does a bunch of responsibilities entail?
At the time I had 4 kids, 4 children.
At that time.
And I was trying to figure out, what am I going to do to make money besides the store that's really not making money right now.
And there was not a lot of snow shoveling in Tucson, Arizona.
No, there was not.
No.
So a friend of mine had suggested that I try mortgages. And I said, why not? And got into the business, learned it pretty quick, because you have to learn quick, and realized, again, I'm helping people now make a bigger financial decision, not so much on what they're buying, but at least telling them what they can buy, what they should afford compared to what you can afford are 2 different things.
Yeah.
And educating people. So being an educator of, why do you choose a certain home price, even though you can afford that payment, other things in life are going to come along. Kids in college, your car payment when you need a new car, things like that, the insurance that comes with it, the taxes that go up every other year or whatever. You got to prepare them for that so they're not mad at you later.
Right.
And I really enjoyed, and I still do enjoy, having people smile that they've got that, just like when you hand somebody the car keys, when somebody gets the keys to their house, they could live there a couple of years, or they could live there 30 years and their kids could end up with that house. You know what I mean? So with the same thing, building the relationships is, in that industry, people stay in the house, rates drop, they're going to refinance. You want them to call you. Because there's hundreds of companies out there that are willing to take their business. Why should they do business with you? Is it just about the price, or just about, savings or whatever it is? Or is it because they know you actually are trying to take care of them?
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Yeah. You were recognized as a top 1% mortgage originator in the nation. Were there habits or systems or any philosophies that helped you reach that level?
It was honestly more of a work ethic, that you had to say, okay, people don't just call you up saying, hey, I need a mortgage today, especially if they don't, everybody knows what you do and your face is on every billboard or every TV commercial, because that wasn't my, style of trying to get business.
Right.
It's basically word of mouth. And it would just be letting everybody know that what I did for a living, and if they needed my services, whether they were going to use me or not, if they needed just advice, they could call me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very good. Very good. So you were kind of just stay in front of them sort of person.
Correct.
Got it.
And then speaking on the work ethic thing, many loan officers come and go with, market cycles. How do you stay committed and successful through both, good and bad market cycles?
You have to budget your life around it.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, just because you have a good year and make good money doesn't mean you just make your life spending habits based on that one year. You have to kind of live within your means or even under your means a little bit so you can save for the rainy days, because there are rainy days for sure. There's rainy years. You know, we're witnessing it in the last few years after COVID, and that was a really hot time. Then rates went from, you know, in the 2s to the 8s, down to 7s. We're in the 6s now, and it's still not fantastic right now. But you just have to keep putting your nose to the grindstone, letting people know what you do, because their people aren't knocking down the doors to get rid of their 3% rate.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it makes it a little bit tough, but life happens. People have babies, people grow older and don't want 2 stories anymore. They need a 1-story home, you know, that people are tired of renting and want to finally buy a house. So, you know, again, education and guiding people through the process of what it is now. What does it look like now for a mortgage on a home compared to even what it was, you know, 3 or 4 years ago? It's different. You know, prices of homes have come up, rates have come up, so the buying power is a little bit less.
Yeah. Well, you know, for full disclosure, there was a time when I got an emergency phone call from you, and you're like, Tony, you need to refinance your house right now. That was the phone call I got. It was so serious. I'm like, all right, fine. I guess I do.
Was I right?
You were totally right. I was like, hey, I told my wife, she's like, why do we need to do that? I go, because Jason said we need to do it right now. I mean, the man would be calling me to tell me that just because he wants to refinance a house. So yeah, I think that rate, I can never ever sell that house. It's almost free. So, oh well, there's that. Anyway, so for newer agents and lenders listening today, what separates the professionals who survive and those that thrive?
It's literally listening to the client, but then being able to have enough rapport with them to be able to explain to them how the reality really is. Because like any profession, if you're not in that profession, you may hear stories on the news or whatever it is, and then you might think you know, but you really don't know. So you have to be a trusted professional that people will actually listen to.
Yeah.
So you have to build your credibility. You know, I've been in mortgages now for 15 years. It really was tougher when I was in it for a year. People are like, "You've only been doing it for a year." Like, you know, they don't want to really listen to you as much. But if you show that you care, or they see something else that shows you're right, you know, you just keep pushing, keep getting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And that's what'll do it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And so let's make a little transition here. There was some point where you made a decision to become an American Family Insurance Agency owner.
Correct.
What inspired that move?
Well, when I thought about it, and I'll tell you that my first thought in my head was I didn't want to be Ned Ryerson. And if you know who that is the insurance agent that's on the Groundhog Day movie with Bill Murray.
Yep.
I didn't want to be that guy. But I said, what does every homeowner have? Pretty much they all have homeowners insurance. What does every person who drives a car have? They have car insurance. You know, people should have life insurance, and not enough people have life insurance. It's funny. I thought that a lot of people have a $19.99 a month plan for their $1,000 cell phone, that if it gets lost, stolen, or broken, they get a new one, which is like life insurance for your phone.
Yeah.
But they don't have enough life insurance on themselves or their kids.
Right.
And I said, you know what? These two industries really do go hand in hand. And with insurance, there is residual income, obviously, as you build your book, as you build your client base, which mortgages really don't have. You have to really call somebody up and say, hey, you ready to do another mortgage? You know, and people aren't ready right now.
Yeah.
So I said, what's something that I can sustain, that I could use both to help each industry out?
Yeah.
And that was my actual business proposal that I brought to American Family when they asked me, you know, to put together a business plan of what I was going to do. And I said, I'm going to stay in the mortgage business. I'm not going to let it go. And this is why. And they said, that makes perfectly good sense.
So you would say that your journey through quote unquote selling has brought you to this place where you own two businesses both of which you're pretty adept at. Is that a fair assessment?
Correct. And it did all start in the car business. And honestly, I mean, if I'm going to say it, you were a great manager at the time. I know we were both young, but you kind of like were pushing me to not act so young, to like, hey, you got to grow up a little bit. You can have fun, but, you know, plant your feet and really get, really study what you're doing, focus on what you're doing. Because at the same time, I was starting a young family not too long after I started there, a couple of years after.
Yeah.
So that grounds you as well.
Yeah.
And having 4 kids now, I technically have 8 between my wife and myself. That definitely keeps you moving. It gives you a lot of incentive, because even though they grow and get out of the house, they don't stop coming back for stuff.
That's hilarious. My children, for Christmas, my wife made them some fake Costco cards because they go to our house and shop. Is that what happens to you? Are your elders coming over and shopping at the house?
I haven't learned how to make less food when I make it.
Yeah.
So there's always extra food, and I'll text a group text saying, hey, there's extra food at the house. Who wants it? We'll be by soon. And they bring their own Tupperware, or they bring the ones that I gave them last time.
That's
all
awesome.
Cleaned up and ready to go, and they take food home.
That's awesome. Well, hey, listen. You're still underachieving, because I hear that they're cheaper by the dozen.
It's not happening. There's no more. Right? Let me tell you.
Those are the famous last words.
The last child is our lemon beagle.
Yeah.
Who does have pet insurance?
Yeah.
Who is fed by the farmer's dog?
Mm-hmm.
It's not cheap to do all that stuff, but that dog is basically a baby. It's another child.
Oh my God. I'm sorry you're on our podcast suddenly. Hey, listen, you deserve, sir. You deserve. Here we go. All right. So, what surprised you the most about becoming a business owner compared to simply being just a top producing professional? In other words, when you were in the car business and you were working for somebody, and then when you went on your own, what do you think surprised you the most?
Surprised. It was actually more work than working for somebody else. Like a lot more work than working for somebody else, because you have to wear so many different hats. Instead of putting on your salesman hat and whatever, it's now I am the accountant, I'm the manager, I'm the janitor, I'm the whatever it is that has to be done. It's the amount of hats you have to wear.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. So you thought you were going to be free?
Well, everybody says, hey, when you work for yourself, you're free. No. I was like, you're married to your business to a degree. It's like you have another wife.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to do it all over again, would you do it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it built who I am now.
Yeah. So you're happy where you're at.
I'm happy where I'm at, but I can see I have goals, I have dreams, aspirations that, I'm in my 50s now. I'm not that 22-year-old kid.
What?
There's some stuff I'd like to get done before it's time to hang it up.
You're in your 50s?
53.
It's true. Asian people don't get wrinkles. What the hell is that, man? Look at you. I would just never guess you were in your 50s. The only reason I know that might be true is because I knew you back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So today you're helping clients from both the mortgage and the insurance side. What do you think the biggest financial protection mistakes you see homeowners make?
They honestly go for what's just cheap.
Yeah.
And I try to educate them. And yes, there's a difference between overpaying for insurance compared to getting a good value. And I tell everybody, if you have a crystal ball in your house and that crystal ball says you're never, ever, ever going to have to use your insurance, then get the cheapest, crummiest, whatever company that's out there, because who cares? But when you go for cheap, you're not going to care if you paid $1,000 for a policy or $2,000 for a policy. When you have a problem and you need help, you're going to want to be treated the same.
Yeah.
And on some things you will be, but even a windshield, for instance, windshield cracks, people think, oh, my windshield gets replaced, blah, 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 blah. Some companies will not use OEM glass. They will use a glass that's from, not secondhand, but I mean, it's made by not the original manufacturer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's not the same. When you look through it, it's not the same. Some of the newer ones have to have it, but some companies still try to not use it. And then all the fancy cameras and all the little pop-up displays that are on your windshield won't work properly. So then they have to go back and put the OEM in anyway. But when your house burns down to the ground or the car gets totaled, the difference is some companies they're going to delay, they're going to deny, or when it comes down to it, you're going to get thousands of dollars less because that's how they can afford to do it, is because they're charging you less to begin with.
Yeah.
On top of that, if you have a small claim, they're going to raise you higher. I mean, every company will raise you if you're having claims,
Right.
but the companies that are charging less are going to start charging you a lot more, or they're going to just dump you when come renewal time. They can't dump you in the middle of a contract, but come renewal time, they're saying, hey, we're not going to renew you.
Yeah.
And that is true with every company. If you're somebody that calls for every little thing, and you've got tons of claims, any company's going to drop you. But it's the fact that you should be able to use it, and not just get dumped immediately.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Come renewal. And I tell people, the work that you've put in to purchase your home, to purchase your car, do you consider what you were doing as just cheap work? That you were cheap? No. Then why that now that you've earned those things, that you've got to that point, why do you want to just go with cheap? And I understand sometimes you do have to. There are situations in life that you have to have just whatever to keep you legal, and that's what you need.
Yeah.
But when you can afford it, you should explore other options, whether it's with like a company with American Family, which is a great company. That's why I went with them. There's, hundreds of companies I could have went with, but that's why I went with them, is because they take care of their clients. They're not the cheapest. Sometimes we are actually, but we're not as a whole the cheapest, but we are very good.
Very good.
And say a first-time home buyer sat down with you tomorrow.
Mhm.
What advice would you give them before they start the shopping process? And what would you tell them?
One, I would sit down with them and have them really work out a budget, because when I pull their credit, I can only see the bills that are on their credit. I don't see like if they pay a nanny for something, because they got a little baby, for daycare or whatever it is. I don't get to see all their bills that are outside of what's on their credit. So I really want them to do a detailed budget of what they have to spend. Not what they like to spend, first what they have to spend. That maybe it's not even on the credit part, and put that together. And then really put together a picture of what they can afford for a home. Because the worst thing in the world would be to get somebody into a home, they're in there for a year or two, and they're like, oh my gosh, we can't afford this.
Yeah. They're house poor.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking ahead, what excites you the most about the future of your business and serving Southern Arizona families?
The fact that growing, for one, the more it grows, the more that I can actually put back into the community and help donate for causes, sponsor tournaments that are raising funds. I myself, I'm actually going to be doing a tournament for our golf club that they've nominated me to go ahead and do a charity tournament to help a couple of charities that we're looking at picking now. So being able now to be able to maybe give back more,
Sure.
with taking the things that I've learned and everything is something that I'm looking forward to.
Oh, that's great to hear. That's awesome.
That's really good.
We're going to do what we like to term our lightning round. Are you ready? Here we go.
I hope so.
Here we go. All right. This is the Beyond the Split lightning round. Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee.
Coffee. Very nice. Now,
Mountains or beach?
Beach.
beach. Favorite Tucson restaurant?
Ooh.
Be very, very careful.
Oh, this is difficult. What kind of food? All right, I'm going to say sushi on Oracle then, because I like sushi. That place has been around for over 20 years. I know where they get their fish from, and it's very consistent.
Where is this
every
now?
single time.
Sushi on Oracle?
Yeah, it's on Orange Grove in Oracle.
Okay.
And it's called Sushi on Oracle?
It's called Sushi on Oracle.
You know, the very fact that you said that you know where they get their fish is very, that makes me want to go there, actually. I don't know. How come you're such an expert on sushi?
Well, I've been to Japan 5 times. I'm half
Matsuzawa.
Japanese, and I grew up with it as a little kid. So, yeah.
That's funny. Best business advice you've ever received?
I'd have to say I actually got that from Jim Click, which would be to take care of every customer so well that they automatically go to work for you.
Truisms. Yeah. You know, and that comes from his dad, Oompa. The eternal grind.
I remember him.
Oh, here we go. Still nightmares. But he did. He was a smart dude. All right, here we go. Last one. One word that describes your career journey.
One word.
One word that describes your career journey.
I would say successful.
Successful. Man, very, very good. Well, I'm going to tell you that a man does not come in looking like that and not have that be true. They say that your outward appearance is a reflection of the inside that you have. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, Jason, we want to thank you for spending time with us today. Your journey from mortgage professional to business owner and insurance agency operator is a great example of how relationships, service, and continuous growth can create opportunities throughout a career. And we appreciate your sharing your insight and your knowledge with us. And thank you for joining us for Beyond the Split.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Great, our pleasure.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
Thank you. Hey, thank you.